Products full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot and Amit, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the word, so shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I'm Amit. That is KDot. This episode is the All-22 review against the Detroit Lions, who doubled us up 44-22. So KDot watched the film. He's going to tell you what he liked, what he didn't like, and then we're going to get into the side piece team report. I've got a couple teams that I'm interested in. He's got a couple teams he's interested in. It's really around the NFL conversation. And we conclude with the comment mailbag, as we always do. Before we begin the episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
I haven't had fun today. No fun today. But I wrote a rhyme. Been a while since
we're back on that.
Fuck you. That didn't sound enthusiastic, you piece of shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck?
No, I missed it. Seriously, go ahead.
Quinn's got the call. Whitt's off the grid. Fans losing minds over every goddamn little bit. Bodies keep dropping. The pain won't quit. I'm trying to stay medium, bitches. Now shit is shit.
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate that. And without further ado, we get into it with the All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
Once again, the Washington Commanders lost 44-22, marking the fourth straight game they've lost by 3+ scores. So KDot has looked at this with not 50 screens, not 60 screens, but his usual 70 screens to tell you exactly what went down in this game. What went well, what didn't, beginning with the offense. KDot, they scored 22 points against the Lions. The floor is yours.
We'll see how long it takes for that to kick in for me to have a good time. All right. Wow. All right. Still. Ooh. All right. Lost my train of thought for a second. I'm back. I'm plugged in. We're back. All right. Structure of this one. I don't know. What did you do with the intro? You said some shit. Did you shit me up?
Yeah. 50, 60, 70 screens. Go ahead. Offense. 22 points.
Bro. Offense. I think I'm going to go like what went wrong. I'll go into what went right offensively and how I'm actually leaving with a bit of positivity about the offense. And then we'll move into defense. And then defense, we're gonna swap it. Okay. We're gonna swap things because we're probably gonna spend a lot more time on one particular aspect of things than any other aspect of things, considering the news has actually changed since we last did the pod. What went wrong? Third downs. Just bad. Just bad. Like it's just it's you shoot yourself in the foot earlier on in the series, and then you put yourself in these third down situations to leave you one dimensional with a Detroit Lions defense that knows what the hell it is they're doing, right? So yeah, if you can't convert on third downs, you can't keep drives going. Guess what you can't do? Can't score. You can't keep the time of possession. You can't keep that goddamn defense off the field, right? Like that's something you can't do if you're not converting. We were 2 for 10. Far cry away from like last year with like third and fourth down. We were like really, really well known for doing
tops in the league.
Yeah, not like that, man. Like even when you had certain like the opening second half drive that you have like you get on first and second down. Good plays. On 3rd and 3, you got 3rd and 3, good situation, but then the Lions just placed out defense. Because, like, at the end of the day, even if you're doing everything right, you still got to take into consideration that Detroit on the other side of the field is damn good. So, like, even if you doing everything right, there's sometimes it's just good defense in the right particular time. It just causes something to not work out that way. It's football, right? But because of the way that things happen, a lot of those opportunities on third down are few and far between because you're not in the right position to take advantage of them, and that's what you got to do. Stack the deck in your favor. Run efficiency. That wasn't great. So like everybody looks at the final stats as far as the rushing attack and the post game. There's a lot of like, hey, we should have done. I think every game there's pretty much everybody has some sort of complaint about the running attack, whether or not Cliff they think get out of it entirely too early, or they think the split amongst the back should be a little different than what it is. I'd say for this one, I liked the game plan. I'm actually going to talk more about the rushing attack and things that I actually liked. But the thing is that because of the same thing I was talking about as far as when you put yourself in those third down situations, if you are in those situations early on in these drives or early on in the series, where if you don't have the positive run, then you kind of put yourself in a situation where you can't run when you want to run. So you get a low volume because, number one, there's more 3 and outs than there should be. Number two, you have negative plays, whether it be penalties or Detroit sniffed out something. Because, I mean, there are tackles for losses as far as in the rushing attack there, too. But there was at one point in the game, I think everybody except for, might have been Bill, had a 9-yard carry is their longest. There was some stuff there in the run game that did look kind of cool. But then you see it pretty much died when Chris Rodriguez comes out with the shoulder injury or whatever. Because, like, at the end of the day, like his carries go to nothing after the touchdown, and it's the Bill show. It's the Bill and McNichol show, and they are just not hitting with the same gravitas or steam that Rodriguez was. And then the yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, that's what went wrong, I'd say. Yeah, 2.7 yards carry, like, great.
Real quick, did you notice more of us playing heavy? Like, I was looking at the
that's going to be
tight end snaps. Oh, great. Please continue.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I'll get to that. But the another thing that went wrong, interior left interior of the line, they broke down a few times. There are a few times where you could just see the communication looks like it's off, but you also know the offensive line, like pretty much everything due to injuries or performance, has not been necessarily the most consistent group as far as them getting to know each other. So you can expect some mistakes, especially the defense, the stout. But yeah, if you're just going to point out what went wrong, they attacked a particular part of the line. You could see some people necessarily they weren't in the right position to do things. Okay, what was good? Because like I actually do think that there's some positivity here, and I could start with your heavy. Yeah, let's start there.
Please do.
Plan. There are tons of 12 and 13 personnel in this particular game. Like so, you show the run heavy fit, and actually during this game, early on in the series where you want to scream at the TV to run the football, they went play action and it worked. And that's what you want, is you want to be able to set up that rushing attack from that heavy set and then play things off of it, which is what you then start seeing as far as them getting John Bates involved as far as some of the crossing, the crossers. And then you also saw Ben Sinnott on the touchdown. I'd actually like to see those roles kind of get reversed as far as who's running what route. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of things. It's what I've been talking about since last year, right? Like, you remember we even did the personnel chart. I think I still might have it on here, which I was telling you, like, I liked a lot of the, like, jumbo sets in certain circumstances. Sometimes, like, last year, there were just certain sets we were running for certain things. Last year, because of the versatility as far as the rushing attack with Austin Eckler and whoever, Brian Robinson or whatever, or even going into this year, you thought maybe you have 2 backs in the backfield, maybe you do this, maybe you do that. But what we do best at is that heavy set. The offensive line, when they really get going, they're decent. There's a decent group. And then on top of that, we got some, if it's not always technique, it's not always there's not a time that you're looking at the field where the tight ends aren't giving it their all. And you love that. You love to see that they're having fun. You love to see that they love to hit people. Like that's I wish there's a camera that just follows the tight end group, because I'm sure they're celebrating something.
So like, to boil it down even more simply, positives, tight end. Like they're in it, they're working, they're hitting people. Yeah. Okay, cool. That position group.
Right. Yeah. So the position group looks like it's strong and they need to get more opportunities. And with those opportunities, you're rushing out of that heavy attack. And that heavy attack is great for Chris Rodriguez. It's better for McNichols to a certain degree. Bill had some moments coming out of it. I mean, of course, like, you give him enough carries anywhere, he's going to make something happen. But I think what did the best in this particular game, was going to bring me into my second thing that went so well, is out of the heavy set, the play action was bomb. It was good. It was good in this game. Some of the best play action I've seen us run all season long. Because at the end of the day, another thing that was good, and that's a lot based off the play action, is Marcus Mariota. He had a good game. Like I'm looking at the, like, through and through. I'm like, yeah, I like what dude did. He took what the defense was giving him, but then he also, on those play actions, you saw him go through the progression, but he took his shots. He took his shots when he needed to. What is it? 12.8 air yards per attempt, 6 of 10 on 10 plus air yards for 157, 3 of 6 on 20 plus for 108. Ball placement was there, but more than anything, this wasn't like that sloppy Mariota game. So watch out for next week. The one word I'd use more than any other word as far as Mariota with the offense this game for majority of the game. Near the end, it got kind of away from everybody, but decisive. He knew what he wanted to do. So that's the one thing that if there's anything I could boil down what I want this performance to maybe mean to Jaden going forward is decisiveness.
And as a reminder for folks, Mariota 16 of 22, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, only took 2 sacks.
Yep.
He had a 133 passer rating, which is excellent, along with 5 carries for 22 yards. So just setting the context for what we want Jaden to get back to being able to do, because he had those levels of efficiency last season, just hasn't been there this season, please.
And there you go. And that's the thing is you see there are multiple times in this particular game because of the way Detroit's playing defense, sometimes with where it is they're stacking as far as the pressure, sometimes a lot of times just the way they're dropping back in coverage. What we did with the play action over the course of the game was to get them out of what it is they wanted to do, at least initially. So hey, maybe they wanted to give man looks at one point, then they're switching over to something else. We kept their defense on it. So it's a good chess match, I thought, between Cliff and those guys on the Detroit D. Because I actually think some of the drive calls Cliff was doing as far as when he was queuing up the play action based off of when he was getting the run for a rushing attack to not be as efficient as it was in this game, what he got out of it is, to me, almost all I'd give half a game ball to Cliff in the sense of hey, I liked the game plan. I like what you guys were doing. And there are tons of times on the field where I'm like, hey, if Jaden was doing the same thing Marcus did, but Jaden's there, that's a touchdown. Or if Jaden was in there and he was doing the same thing that Marcus did, he could have ran for that first down. So you see those opportunities like that make me excited.
So remind the audience again, because then we get to third down, right? So Mariota has a nice day. It's efficient. You would give half a game ball to Cliff, but then what the heck was going on those third downs?
Detroit's good. We're banged up. So another thing that could be a highlight, but also a thing that you have to take note is one of the things I was going to say was a bit of a positive was the wide receiving room. Now, you could see from a wide receiver standpoint, they knew they had to zero in on one person above all other people. Take a guess.
Deebo Samuel.
There you go. And they did a damn good job. Deebo was getting a lot of attention. Even though Deebo ate a little bit in this game, he was getting a lot of attention, which left the other guys. And we know the other guys were whom? The amount of times I had to look up whose number it was when watching the All-22 at times because I couldn't keep it in my head.
Can I, just to provide more context to the audience, because we were playing heavy, which means 12, 13 personnel, so that's going to be 2 tight ends. That's going to be 3 tight ends. Deebo Samuel, 42 snaps on offense at 78%. Mm-hmm. Here's the next one. It's Treylon Burks, who literally just joined the team 2 weeks ago with 21 snaps at 39%.
Yep.
Right. And then after that, it's Jalen Lane, Robbie Chosen with 15 snaps each. That's just 28%. And Chris Moore, 11 snaps, 20%. That's it. That's the receiver room.
There you go. So you got a bunch of dudes that were in street clothes hours before the game, probably. Well, I guess you would be because you come.
Treylon Burks now out, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was so Treylon Burks was he also gets a game ball. It's in the sense of that was 3 targets, 3 receptions. They all looked good.
58 yards.
Burks was out there, and to me, Burks doesn't. There are more that you can see Cliff would probably have dialed up over the course of the game if he could have relied on that. But you could also see because of the heavy set, once again, I think that should be the game plan anyway. But because of the lack of wide receiver talent at this particular point in time, you're kind of forced into doing some things, which is leave the tight ends out there probably a little bit longer than maybe you even want to in the progression of the game. Once again, I still think that should be part of the game plan. But you just don't have any talent. There's nobody beating anybody just outright, right? Because number one, you got the tight end. There's just no one doing that. You just see it. Mariota's going through the progressions. It's that's not open. That's not open. That's not open. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Also, Jalen Lane. This flashed the thing that I've been talking about, or what I thought in the off season and in the limited spots he didn't really show off this year, but there's some vertical stuff with Lane that looks like it might be there. Remember, that was the thing that I thought was that he was going to be the deep threat. And then he had some confidence shaking things happen over the course of the season. There's not been a lack of consistency, but him like running up the vertical seam on this just was like, that looks like it should be a thing. And he had a hell of a catch. So like, I'm just saying that like, I thought Lane and Burks both shone off the screen, and it's something I'm always looking out for because it's not necessarily something you see quite often this season with the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the offensive side of the ball. Now let's get to, I think, what a lot of people are interested in, which is the defensive side of the ball, because as a reminder to folks, we gave up 44 points, but it was how we gave up 44 points. We gave up 546 total yards on offense, right? And I kept saying 519 when we were talking about it on the live stream. The reason being, that's what Jared Goff accounted for. That's while he was in the game. Then the backups ended up doing something as well. So 546 yards, 8 yards per play. To put that in perspective, it's the worst in the NFL this season. Over the last 3 games, 7.6 yards allowed per play. To put that in perspective, that is also the worst in the NFL at any point this season in the last 3 games. So, in summation, right now, we have the worst defense in football. With that, KDot, over to you. What did you see?
Well, I was going to lead with positivity with that intro. Yeah, let's still do it.
Yeah.
They did a couple. There were a couple screens that were just sniffed out immediately. I know one got called out on the screen with Von Miller. Like there was some good stuff as far as that went. And they blocked a extra point. I'm done. What went wrong? Everything else. You gave the numbers on those stats. And they sound kind of hollow because I don't know if you know this, but for the Detroit Lions, this is the 7th 40-plus point and 500-plus yard games that the Detroit Lions have had in the Dan Campbell era. 7th. So you might lose track of that. But I think what hits home is if I read these to you right now. These are the drives for the Detroit Lions. They had oh shit. Yep, just gonna go with this. 87 yards. Touchdown. 65 yards. Touchdown. And a 2-point conversion. Then 64 yards, field goal, 72 yard, touchdown, 72 yards, field goal, 84 yards, touchdown, 15 yards, field goal, and then 14 yards, and they kneel. It's the end of the game. That's bad. That's bad. We've forced 1 punt in the last 2 games, which I know people have been talking about. Yeah, man. Run Fitch, wrong. Edge, nothing. No containment whatsoever. Gibbs, 15 on 143, 2 touchdowns. 7 forced missed tackles. 85 yards after missed tackles. Led best he's had all season. 4 explosives. Everything over and over and over again. Over pursuing, wrong hold, not here, not there. Hey, this is your assignment. Hey, this is your assignment. Just fucking it up. Every which way. So like, and you'll hear me talk about that in every other facet. So with the run, miscommunication. In the pass, miscommunication. Lots of it. Lots of people fucking up one technique. Lots of people not realizing in this particular situation, they're probably not going to play towards the out of bounds. Like maybe you should guard the inside. Or maybe you should guard the outside bounds. Just knowing where it is that other people are going to be on the field. And then also, when there's guys like running across the field, you might want to have some awareness. I've never seen defensive backs trip over each other like this goddamn defense. It looks like there's a bunch of Mr. Magoos just diving into each other at any given point in time. It's like we set our own picks all season. Like it's just, there's no one knows what anyone else is doing. That's the thing that you can see on the defense is like no one knows what anybody else is supposed to do. It seems. The only time that you get an inkling that somebody might know what somebody's supposed to do is when they're yelling at each other in between the plays. Like when Frankie Lufu looks like when to murder somebody. When everybody's seen the replay of Jordan McGee telling Bobby, "Oh, I got you. I got Gibbs. And then Gibbs just one step and gone. And you know what's hilarious? If you watch the tape, Washington is on purpose making sure you can see the communication between McGee and Bobby and making sure McGee keeps Gibbs. But you also see anytime Detroit sees that they got Bobby and not Gibbs, they want McGee. like they're running at McGee. Like they're not fucking around. Like they don't give a shit. And then McGee couldn't do anything. Like McGee has flashed at times with that speed running downhill. The moment they go east and west, he doesn't know what to do. And if they are going north and south in a running sort of where he's got to play coverage, he does not know what to do and when to do it. We talked about him looking lost.
Well, this was particularly interesting because you see his snap count go way down, right? 27 snaps total, just 39%, whereas he had been 80+% prior to this. So it lends itself to exactly what you're talking about, KDot, which is that he's being hunted by Detroit to the point where it does make sense to take him off, so that it's like Detroit needs to do something else in response to it. Go ahead.
They were like, damn, man, why y'all take McGee out the game? Put him back in. Put that boy back in there. Which is, look, man, Bobby did not look great this game, but I saw that he did have a really good open field tackle on Gibbs. I think it did go for a first down.
He did, yeah, and that's when he was backing up. That went viral on Twitter, at least amongst Commanders Twitter.
Okay, go try to tackle
one-on-one.
Piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah, really, go ahead. Like, you might not have to give up a little ground to make up the ground out. Yeah, okay, feel free. Ask Jordan McGee how it is to just relentlessly pursue in one direction. Okay, he's running.
He knows what the back of Jahmyr Gibbs looks like.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, look, Bobby in the open field tackle against Gibbs one-on-one, you give the man credit. Like, I don't give a shit who anyway. Like, fuck you. Give the man credit. Yeah, man, the coverage bus and leverage just constantly. Sandra still, Wagner, against St. Brown at one point. You got Luvu on some of the crossers. Just, I don't know if he's not supposed to have that guy, because the way he's reacting, he expects help or something. Because I don't know but I also look at the defense. And I'm like, you guys expected Luvu to carry that guy across the field like that? I don't think that's the case, but maybe it is. So that's why I give credence to Luvu probably being angry for the right reasons in this particular game. Because like anyone could have turned to anybody at any given point in time and said, what the fuck was that? And you would probably be right. Like, you don't even have to know. Like, you could just turn around and say, the fuck you do that for? And somebody should feel self-conscious about something at any given point in time in this game. Except for, like I said, the block extra point and the few screens that got blown up. But that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Dude, the front four getting no real pressure. I mean, look, if I'm gonna go on any positive as far as like anyone that had, like, I'm not gonna say nobody had a good day, but Kinlaw looked good at some times as far as generating something. Newton looked good in some times as far as generating something. But nah, man. Anytime they even sniffed or got close to Goff, ball was out. Out. Like, he knew it was just. It felt like a troll job, man. Like, it felt like he straight up was like trolling him. Like, hey,
Jacob Martin looked okay though. You hadn't mentioned his name. Well, how did he look?
He looked. I'm not. Nah.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, right now, you might see somebody get some pressure. You might see somebody go or blow by somebody. Some of the times they're letting them blow by on purpose, because that's not the purpose of what it is they're supposed to do. So every once in a while, something will look better than it might be, especially if they're just playing within the confines of defense. You're like, you see a quick flash like Jacob Martin getting somewhere. It doesn't necessarily tell the whole story.
I want to get back to you had mentioned Johnny Newton.
Yeah.
Right. And Deron Payne gets thrown out of the game because he, retaliated. And it is shown now that Amon-Ra did actually get the first hit, which he omitted from his part of the story. So Deron did retaliate.
He should get fined. But Deron Payne still, you deserve it.
Yeah, shouldn't have done it. But I'll also take back the quitting piece of it, because it was in fact a retaliation. I remember being like, you quit on
they were in the fight. I'm sorry.
My fault.
They're fighting.
Here's what I want to say about Johnny Newton, because I'm curious as to what you're seeing, KDot. I look at the defensive tackles and their snap counts. And the reason I'm so focused on snap counts is because these are the people that are actually playing, right? This is the order in which faith is distributed to these players. I see Kinlaw at number 1. This is with Deron Payne thrown out, right? I see Kinlaw at number 1. I see Sheldon Day number 2. I see Eddie Goldman number 3, and then Johnny Newton.
Yeah.
Right? So Why?
Newton's not as good at run blocking.
Okay, that's the reason.
Period. But that goes back to college. Like, the thing is that, like, the only thing I was going to push back on what you said was that the snap counts were indicative of, like, belief or faith. It's not necessarily tell the full story, because you got to look at the packages that they're putting in and why specific packages get put in at any given point in time. So, like, if I'm looking over the course of the year, right, if I need pure pass rush sort of situations, Johnny Newton, I kind of want on the field more even than what it is I've been seeing right now. If you're not entirely sure if it's going to be a run or going to be a pass, so there's a chance of it, my desire to have him in drops just a little bit. Now, if I've got a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit just kind of just putting the throttle on us and they're just like, that's what they're going to do, then Newton's not the first guy that I'm thinking about when it comes to that. I'm looking at Day has had moments. Like, I've liked a lot of the Sheldon Day that I've seen in the last 2 years. And Kinlaw, outside of Dorrance Armstrong and maybe Payne, I like it. Maybe Payne. I'm trying to think if I like who it is that I'd rank as far as Kinlaw has probably been outside of Dorrance Armstrong the most consistent defensive lineman. And then I'd also say after that, I'd probably put Eddie Goldman. As far as like individually, me looking over the course of the season, like what they're doing individually and like setting up. Because here's the thing. This is what's wrong with this defense in the sense of like when I talk about like everything goes wrong. Eddie Goldman could be doing an amazing job. I'm just throwing a name out there. Okay. Eddie Goldman could be doing an amazing job setting what it is that he needs to do, eating up as far as the offensive tackle and maybe even a running back or something else, like eating up that space, leaving a great opportunity for McGee or Wagner to crash down and get in that hole. And because the linebackers look dumb sometimes, they don't do that properly, and then you got a 10-yard gain. So, like, when watching the All-22, there are always cases of people doing their jobs. If there's one unit that probably does the overall best job, it's the defensive line. That being said, they don't do anything special, really. And because of what they're doing in the sense of trying to stop the run, they sacrifice some of the guys that should be in there to generate pass rush. Johnny Newton.
Fair enough. And that's going to be relative to other position groups, obviously, like the linebackers, like the corners. Nothing's going great, clearly.
Nothing's going great.
Talking about the corners, right? That's secondary. It looked like, once again, watching on TV, just loads of space for these wide receivers. Yep. Were these busted zones? Was this just poor man? What was going on?
All of it. Name something. Name something that could go wrong in the secondary.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, it's something you get a lot of eyes in the backfield. A lot of eyes in the backfield. A lot of guys looking at shit that they don't need to be looking at. A lot of guys taking responsibility or trying to make a play or trying to be instinctual or whatever it is that they're trying to do, but not doing the right thing. If a team goes in motion, you want to see some people panic on the defense, feel free. Or every once in a while, what I get the scariest about, and you can see it one or two times in this game, somebody goes in motion and the defense don't move. And I'm like, hey, I don't think y'all know who's got him. And usually the ball's going to that person. But like it's those situations where it's just like, man, the communication breakdown. You can shoot him some bail in the sense of how especially right now, you're looking at what they've been trying to do. You hear Joe Whitt actually outright say they're going to make some changes as far as what they're doing defensively, right? And as soon as he says they're going to make some changes, maybe simplify some things or maybe get the communication right, what happens? Marshawn Lattimore's hurt. You get this guy's hurt. You get the everything starts swinging up. Are you going to play Mikey Sanders still on the inside or the outside? What does Jonathan Jones look like? Jonathan Jones goes out there on the outside getting his ass kicked. Then he looks good another week. What are you supposed to do? So, like, at any given point in time, if you got all these dudes that are basically strangers, at this time it looks like, there's no consistency. That's not it does feel like a group of strangers trying to play a defense. It feels like the equivalent of like going to the YMCA or fucking Blacktop.
You're playing pickup.
Right. Like, it's just, it looks shitty at times. It does not look like a cohesive defense. It looks like you got a bunch of dudes out there kind of doing their own thing. And that's what's hard to quantify or to put as far as who's responsible, or even if they do make this switch from Joe Whitt to Dan Quinn, I can't promise you that it'll be anything different.
Yeah.
I can say what I'd like to be different, or knowing what it is that I've seen in Dan Quinn's history that might be different. But overall, I have not seen Joe Whitt not try anything, dog.
So a lot of the personnel is the same from last year. So forget just this week, right? Because we do have some consistency in terms of miscommunication, people not knowing where to be, busted coverages, etc. Looking at last year's All-22s, because we've done these All-22 reviews there as well, and looking at them this year, what is so drastically different that you're seeing?
Bobby's not the player he was last year. Luvu looks neutered. And Sanders Stills, you want to talk about a sophomore slump? That's what's happening.
So I want to focus on Luvu being neutered.
Yeah.
What on earth, right? Because if the defensive tackles are actually doing the space eating like we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Then what the heck is going on with Frankie? Because he was a game record last season.
Well, once again, I might be talking about what the defensive line is doing over the course of the season. I'm not necessarily saying this is what the defensive line is this game. So, and then also you got to look at you can see the run defense for this team has gotten worse over the course of the season, correct?
Getting worn down too.
And with that, Luvu has now been playing near the line of scrimmage more often. So, the thing that I'm seeing is there's an offset that's happening. They're not asking Luvu to do the same thing he was doing last year. So, there's a chance that if you don't have the Dorrance Armstrong injury and you have Luvu playing what it is they had him at the beginning of the season with those guys eating up space, Luvu starts doing what it is it looked like they wanted him to do, which is still play with the reckless abandon, but we need you to play a little bit smarter than you were. You were playing at 100 miles an hour. How about you slow that down to 85, 90 miles an hour and make the right read here, son? So there's that. There's an element of Luvu where it looks as though they're having him think instead of just going. They're trying to diversify what it is he does as far as a linebacker. Made sense at least early on the season, but as the attrition rate just increases, you need these guys places. I said it 2 weeks ago. I miss you, Dante Fowler. I miss all these guys that we had that showed at any given point in time, but the injuries have absolutely decimated this team. And you have a team that you talk about the personnel from last year to this year, as far as in the secondary might be the same outside, but even you look at that, Marshawn Lattimore is not really with the team the whole season. He's not with the team the whole season. Then he's hurt for those points where he is there. Almost everything I see on defense, as far as the mistakes and everything, go back to one thing above all other things, which is that I think majority of these are just mental errors. I think there's a mental error, and I think there's a talent discrepancy. So, I think that you have the two things that are happening at once. I think, Marcus Mariota in the post game said something that sounded like music to my motherfucking ears, because it made sense to me, but I don't know if it made sense to you guys, which is we're not who we thought we were. And that to me was damning.
I'm glad it was said.
Yes. Hugely.
What we've all seen.
Yes. Right? But that's the thing, is we're not what we thought we were this. And I think you have a team that was feeling themselves, and you got a team that look, man, there was a thing last year where there was remember that feeling you got towards the end of the season where even if we were down the fourth quarter, you still thought we were going to win? Yeah. Remember? That's you play if we're feeling that, that means we're reading something, right? So we know about Jaden Daniels, but we also know the defense got a turnover in the right time, right, to help out, or we knew the defense was going to do something. Jake, just give Jaden another shot. That's all we need, right? And there's a confidence that happens with that. That defense last year had swag at certain points of the season, right? Not early on the season. Early on the season, you hear me on the All-22s criticizing how flat they look and how they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that. Over the course of the season, the good times just keep rolling, right? You're winning these games. You're looking like you're going to be in the playoffs. You're looking like this. The stories are good. Nobody believes in us, right? That feeling that you guys had as fans, that we had as fans, sorry, even though I am kind of othering everybody, the feeling that we had as fans last year went from just comprehend this, okay? The start of a complete teardown rebuild. We are doing the postmortem on the Ron Rivera era. All new guys come in with a rookie quarterback. No one's expecting shit. Okay? Veterans are probably getting Bobby Wagner, these guys are being convinced to come to Washington to help out and set this tone for what the future is going to be. No one thought these fuckers were going to be in the NFC Championship game. The good times were rolling. I think you got a team that does not understand adversity. I think you got a team that when shit goes bad, it just compounds and makes worse. I think you got a team that does not know how to let the bad shit roll off their shoulders at all. They dwell in it. They sit in it. They're staying here. And they try to gin up all this bullshit, celebrating shit that just annoying, right? Like, why would you do that? You know why you do that? Because you're trying to feel something. Because you're trying to fake it till you
trying to get a
make
spark.
it, baby.
Yeah,
That's
and hopefully it goes right.
And you see a bunch of dudes freelancing, a bunch of dudes looking in the backfield because they want to make the play. Motherfucker, if you're not doing your job, the play is going to be made on you. You take advantage. Look for the plays after you show me you can do the basics. What are you doing about the basics? Which goes to that's what you're seeing as far as like overall the philosophy as far as this team last year and this year. I'm just thinking about even beyond like as I'm watching the All-22 and I'm watching this defense and like having an existential fucking crisis watching this goddamn defense, right? There's this like you're just trying to make sense of it. Like you can get the idea that like, which is even hilarious. Dude, I saw somebody post this on Twitter. The 10 oldest guys on the roster are all healthy.
I saw that. Isn't that crazy?
Which means all your youth, as far as the physicality shit, they're all hurt. And you got a bunch of old motherfuckers out there that are veterans that are just screwing it up.
Yeah. And also Joe Whitt, you could see just again from the snap counts, I keep citing those because it tells a story, that he was doing everything he could to play the people he trusted. He showed his hand completely, right? He moves down from the booth to the field. Tyler Owens, his snaps went to 0. Jordan McGee immediately off the field after Detroit's targeting him over and over and over again. He went to what he felt would work. And now Dan Quinn is going to take over the defense. We can get into expectations in the preview episode. If you want to give a quick 30 seconds now, you're welcome to, before we move to the side piece report.
Yeah, man. I just think, I think more than anything, the question that ends up in everybody's mind is, like, if Dan Quinn comes in here and he makes any sort of changes, then why didn't Joe Whitt make those changes? And I just have to remind people to please look back at the All-22 tape. Just go over everything. Yes, I can understand in certain situations and certain schemes or maybe a certain play that you might not like it. It happens on defense, right? Defense, offense is a chess game. You're going to see those things. It happens to Cliff. Cliff is in the wrong situation sometimes when it comes to the defense to get called. It happens across the NFL, right? But what I can't wrap my head around is how just inept the players are playing at times. It's like guys that I know, same thing, looking at Jaden Daniels and being like, why the fuck are you doing that when I know that you can do the other thing? Which is why I still think all this shit is here as far as this team goes. I think you have a team. Oh, I didn't want to go here. Fuck. There's a Dan Quinn thing that I was always a little worried about. And the Dan Quinn thing is when shit gets to a point where it's like really dealing with your mentals, he can overthink, right? He overthinks. It's why you have him with like, he's the 28-3 coach, or he's the, hey, if there's a rivalry game, you know, Dan Quinn doesn't have a good record against that particular guy, right? There does feel like an element of the dudes are all just thinking a little too much.
Which is the opposite of what he keeps preaching.
Which is everything screams to me, simplify, 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 simplify. And I've told you that, but like simplify, and we're going to get beat. You're going to get beat if you simplify the defense like that. And he did some of that. He did. And we got beat, but then it didn't. Even when there were good plays out of that defense, it didn't turn itself into a roll. It didn't turn one good play into two good plays. You rarely see that with this defense, right? How many times do you see 3 or 4 good defensive plays back to back? You saw that tons of times last year. Mm-hmm. Where out of nowhere, there's a 3 and out that the defense was able to get, even though they got torched the drive before. And it's like, that's all we needed. Just need a little bit of daylight. There's no daylight here. And then also not to mention the fact that last year we played a bunch of fucking bums. In all honesty.
Right. And I think we're now seeing those quarterbacks that are now much, much better and higher quality take full advantage of a defense that maybe is and has been more like this and we're beginning to see that.
But that's the thing is like the adversity piece of it is the reason I wanted Dan Quinn. Because I was just talking to somebody the other day. Dan Quinn in the entire Rolodex of coaches was my number 3 choice. He was my number 3 choice. Number 1 was Mike McDonald. Number 2 was Raheem Morris because he's black. And then Dan Quinn. All right. So Dan Quinn and Raheem were tied. You give the black to. Yeah. All right. So I still had that concern, but the thing that I liked about Raheem and about Dan was that these are guys that say that they learn from their mistakes, and it showed me, at least from what they were saying, that it did sound true. They did the actual steps to do that, learning about your mistakes. I know some people are calling it corny as far as what he did with the branding exercise and everything. I tell those people go fuck themselves. So like, there's the other aspect of another thing that I absolutely loved in the run up to the draft when I finally figured out. There were 2 things that made me absolutely fall in love with Jaden Daniels. One was the VR. And his dedication to the VR, it was just, I nerded out about it. And then number 2 was how he deals with adversity. How he deals when the shit goes bad, when he fucks it up. How does he rebound and get back from it, right? This, to me, felt like the complete marriage of 2 philosophies that were going to do this thing here. And what this year feels like with the injuries and with the vibes is this feels like a year that both of them are going to put in the Rolodex and be like, we learn what not to do this year. And that's my hope. Because I'm telling you, mentally, this team isn't right. They're just not right.
Right. And that is what my thinking is also. Like, that's where I'm curious, right? Because this is where Dan Quinn talked to a bunch of people about overcoming adversity when getting this job this time, right? So here is the adversity. And has he learned from his prior experience? How does he handle it? What is he going to do about it this time around? I'm also curious to see. We're all curious to see, right? Because if he could navigate this, go ahead.
You still got to put the caveat. This team is fucking decimated. Like, this is these
of
guys.
Course.
Like even when I'm looking at Dan Quinn, I'm like, all right, dog, this is a bold move to take over the defense. Like, I understand, but there's a good chance shit ain't gonna get better, right? Like,
well, I was talking to a friend about that. So I go, okay, there's upside in that maybe the defense becomes more serviceable, it gets a little bit better, etc. What if it doesn't? Right? That is a very interesting conversation to come, which will come on Friday, 2 p.m., of course. But go ahead.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, it's a bold move, but I see he had to do something. I get that. You have to do something. You got to generate some sort of spark. This is the way a football team operates. You just got to do something. I feel terrible for Joe Whitt in certain circumstances on this, but then I also say, if I see a team with this sort of mentality, look, I'm not gonna claim I'm not a football player. I'm not a fucking coach. I don't know anything, but I know anytime I've ever been in charge of people, anytime I've ever been a manager, anytime I've been a supervisor, if the vibes are like that, I'm not going to be okay with the vibes being like that, and something's going to change. And I might do some drastic shit, but something might change, which goes back to what it is that I think philosophically from the top down. They had to convince a bunch of veterans to come here. Had wild success. I think that for Dan Quinn, it's a big thing to ask these vets to go sit on the bench. I do think that's...
we've talked about that, by the way. Being a player's coach goes both ways. One, you're able to convince people because you have such strong relationships, right? You're able to convince people to come here and you already have an aligned vision, which they talked about. They have an aligned vision. The downside is if you need to, for lack of a better term right now, put them down, you just won't do it because you still have the rose-tinted glasses and fantasy of what they were and still can be because you believe in them. Right. And so that is.
And my guess has been, I don't think Joe Whitt's in charge of personnel. I think Dan Quinn's in charge of personnel.
Interesting.
And I think what this move is going to allow Dan Quinn to do is probably be a little more daring in what he decides to do as far as some of these snap counts and everything. I think that there is in that building a sort of like, you can be the good guy, I'll be the bad guy, I'll be the good guy, you'll be the bad guy. I think that there's an element of that. And it's basically me trying to make sense of this, but it's it checks out to me. It just like, but look, we are not the most injured team in the NFL. Injuries happen all the time, but you just have to put into context the lack of talent that was here, how far we exceeded because of the schedule and a rookie phenom quarterback that wasn't overthinking anything. Mm-hmm. There's a return down to here as far as the baseline, even if the team is healthy. I picked 9-8, not taking injuries necessarily into account at this level, right? That's who we are. The idea that we're this banged up at these important positions that you need to have consistency with them, which is the other thing. How the fuck are you supposed to make these changes or installs on defense when they keep changing, right? It is a particular bad injury season because it feels purposeful. It almost feels like there's an acute surgery sort of happening. It's, hey, you like the way Treylon Burks looked? We're going to injure him now, okay? Or, hey, Trey Amos was kind of putting together something. We're going to injure him now. Like, it just feels so cruel and deliberate to the injuries and the way they happen, the timeline that they happen, for the coaches to do anything about it, for the team to make any changes about it, or for them to be any better.
Feels like the price we paid for a truly unbelievable year last season. And with that was
you know what makes me the most angry about it, and I'll let you transition. I think Dan Snyder might be smiling somewhere.
Of course he is. And with that was the All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
Thank you as always for that. KDot crushed it as always. We go to
this week in this goddamn All-22. And I tell you right now, if my ass got to wake up at 9:30 to watch that fucking Madrid game, okay? Then we're going to do the live show after that before I get into a Sunday full of fucking football. If they do anything along the lines of what it is they did, you're not getting an All-22 next week, people. It's not happening. I'm not going to do it.
I was even going to talk to you about doing a live show. I'm like, man, this team's got me down now.
I'm not watching that. I'm not going to do it.
You know who doesn't have me down? The New England Patriots, who go to Tampa Bay. Best record in the NFL. Drake May, the front runner for MVP. That actually irritates me just a little bit. But outside of that, it looks fantastic over there in Massachusetts. They seem all the way back. The Atlanta Falcons went to Germany. They lose on a walk-off. Jonathan Taylor, I think, should be MVP. He's been nothing short of spectacular. 244 yards and 3 touchdowns for him on the ground. And then the Las Vegas Raiders, a grueling 10-7 loss to the Denver Broncos. KDot, you were calling it. Denver Broncos look fantastic. Look like they may win the AFC West. And then JJ came back down to earth a little bit against my Super Bowl pick, the Baltimore Ravens, representing the AFC, to be clear. I still had the Commanders winning the whole thing. KDot, what were your thoughts over here?
I love my AFC West prediction, which is the only thing anyone should remember about me this entire NFL.
Not the Raiders?
Nothing. Well, remember, I had them finishing last. I just had them winning.
You did. After we started doing the predictions, I was like, wait, what are you doing? You picked them as your side piece. I was like, well, yeah, upon further review, actually, I don't think.
Yeah, I still picked them as a side piece. I thought that division was all going to have basically winning records, or at least close to 500 would be the last place.
James, remember, I did say 3 or 4 wins. We're on track.
Look, man,
talking all that shit after they were 1-0.
I'm gonna call it racist. If you didn't believe in Geno Smith that badly, you're racist. All right, nobody could have expected Geno.
You do what you need to do to cope.
Geno is so bad.
He's horrible.
Bad, but there's no options. There are no options. So it's like they're just rolling. They're just rolling with it. And I get it. Look, this is about Brock Bowers getting some good playing time. Jenna getting some good playing time. Max Crosby doing podcasts. Like, this is what this time period is about. Let's just get through this shit. Now, I will say the thing with the Raiders that I still like is, as much as they look like absolute dog shit at times, they stay in some of these games. Like, they're not an easy out. Okay. Like, if Geno,
they seem to be a kind of easy out. They're 2-7.
If you get a good lead against them, but I'm just saying the games haven't been easy for teams.
Understood. Yeah. They're closer than people know.
It's not playing Washington. Like, no. Come on. Like, it ain't that. But Geno can also cough it up. And I would quickly, look, man, I know JJ's that dude. There's going to be opportunities every once in a while. And, every once in a while, he's just not going to do great. But he's still learning, and he's still pretty clutch. It's just sometimes the game.
He's being consistent, by the way, every other week. Good week, not good week. He's probably going to miss 3 weeks now. And then good week, not good week. And then he missed another 3.
Fuck off. He looked better than Penix. Piece of shit.
the Penix thing, not going well for me.
It's over.
Over.
It's done, man. Like if it wasn't for Kirk Cousins being on the roster, they might do something.
Yeah, they might. He's not looked the part.
I
did think he would be better than this. Drake London's spectacular, and Kyle Pitts occasionally gets going a little bit, but didn't in this game. The Atlanta Falcons need to just ride Bijan Robinson as much as they possibly can, including Tyler Algier, and then have Penix throw your 20 to 25 times. Go ahead.
You know what I think? Because Falcons have basically been my side piece team for a decade now. But
yeah.
The read I've always gotten on the Falcons is this: they're saving them. They're saving them until they know they have a quarterback worth a damn. Like it feels as though they're constantly like, "Hey, we got like Ferraris on the field. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna save them. Like we're just trying to slow down the hands of Father Time. And when we get the quarterback that's worth something, you'll get the full thing. But we don't want to waste, their efforts or their injuries or anything with this. Just kind of let this thing go. I've never seen a team for so long that has everything just offensively that have so much to give offensively with just the quarterback being such a glaring fucking massive hole. Like it's just
tough.
Jesus Christ.
It's not been what I visualize. Now let's go ahead and talk about the New England Patriots just a little bit more, because when you combine the win totals for our other 3 teams, that's 9. Pat's got 8. And going to Tampa and winning was supremely impressive because they have played an easy schedule. Look, I'll be objective here. They played a very, very easy schedule.
That's why I had that record for them.
They get to keep doing it, and they're going to end up being the 1 seed in the AFC. I don't see another team that's going to challenge them for that, especially with Buffalo dropping the game to Miami. So this team, I'm so curious to see, and I want your take on this, KDot, what they are going to do come playoff time, because it does look like, as of now, they play the Jets on Thursday night. They should be fine there. They're at home as well. That they are going to enter the playoffs with their very first game being in the divisional round at home. Like, what do you think the ceiling is for the New England Patriots this year?
I still not trusting a rookie quarterback in the playoffs, but
agreed.
So like, there's that. The I still thought that I think even in the predictions that I had, it was that they were a pretty high seed, but then they flamed out like immediately.
You had them out in the divisional round. I, having them as my side piece team, had them out in the wild card round.
Yeah. So like there is an element of like, I think they're going to be feisty, but the reason that I'm kind of rethinking that is what happened with Henderson, which is like he then became somebody maybe. I mean, we got to see it more than this, but like if he's really truly something, they got like a legit.
Then they're scary.
Then that to me is that rushing attack with the way they're playing defense and the way that Drake May is taking care of the football for the most part. That to me is scary hours. And if Stephon Diggs going to keep, he's just been big play fucking Stephon all goddamn season. Like anytime they need something, they've been able to rely on him. Sorry, I doubted you. I thought you didn't have anything left in the tank. And usually, even most of the games, you don't even look like you got a lot in the tank, and it's just all of a sudden it just happens. So that's been dope. But it's a testament to Vrabel, but it's also a testament to like. They have 2 cornerstone pieces, and I keep going back to that. I liked Drake May a lot, and I always thought he'd be great in year 2. I just thought he didn't play in year 1. And they have Christian Gonzalez. Like those 2 pieces allow you to do so many other things. What's going to be interesting in New England is I find more solace in having the conversation as far as what happens to them long term, because I promise you, if they don't get. I think that they have a window, and this is going to sound ridiculous. They got a short window right now before there's like a almost rebuilt sort of situation. Do you know how much salary cap space they have?
Oh, it's tons. Like I think it's most in the NFL.
They're not going to spend it.
Okay, so that's your prediction. Not going to spend it because you believe Robert Kraft.
Cheap
right?
Fuck. There's a reason
he's only got so many years left to live. You don't think he's just going to go for it?
The greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL took pay cuts. Like it's
he's married Giselle.
It didn't matter because everybody keeps talking. It was like, oh, he did it so they could fit salary cap space in. Nah, it was because Bob Kraft didn't want to cut checks. Like he's a cheap fuck. All right, dog. I'm just let's call it what it is.
Go ahead.
Bob Kraft is rich.
Yes.
Rich. Why the fuck he getting caught in an Asian massage parlor in like Tallahassee? The motherfucker he could Diddy shit. What the fuck is wrong with this motherfucker? Like, he's cheap. He's cheap. Okay?
That's actually the most convincing argument you've made for why they won't spend the money.
I'm just saying, I think he's cheap. Because, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you look at New England, like, what free agency splashes did they ever do? Every time that they got, like, a big name, it was, like, damaged goods. Randy Moss coming out of Oakland. No one wanted him, right? Corey Dillon coming out of Cincinnati, even though I thought that was unfair.
Sure.
They just do shit. Albert Hainsworth after Washington. Like,
steering the conversation back to the Patriots and their outlook this season,
yeah.
I am now curious, just as an objective football fan. I'm not a neutral one, but an objective one in this situation. I would love to see how Drake May does in the playoffs, right? Because
I think they can make the Super Bowl.
I think they can.
I think they absolutely can.
I think they can, but I'm also curious to see that experience now take place, right?
I'm not.
There are expectations on you. You're at home.
No.
And this is where we saw Jaden excel last season, right?
Nope.
At Tampa Bay, no problem. At Detroit, no problem. At Philadelphia, our best player was the rookie, right? So I'm so curious to see what Drake May does. That's not me saying he won't do well, but I'm excited to see it because if he ends up showing out in the playoffs, you have to then, of course, re-entertain, and people already are entertaining the redraft and having Drake May go one. That door is open to him. And it's just going to be very interesting to see.
And I don't think he gives a shit. But
no, he doesn't. I'm saying just for fan fodder.
I think Caleb would. I think Jaden would. I don't think Drake cares. I'm being honest. Like, I really do. I think that there's a competitive spirit in those guys that's different in Drake. I like Drake's mentality. I almost liked his intangible.
Well, he's the youngest of four brothers too, so I think he's
got just a little of that Eli Manning dumbass that like works,
which is a good thing.
Just a good thing.
Yeah.
It's what our team needs is more dumbasses. So like I refuse to accept a world. There are two franchises that I generally dislike now, just for the sake of doing it, because I don't like their fan bases at this point.
Sure.
It's the Green Bay Packers and New England Patriots. The Green Bay Packers just stumble into franchise quarterbacks. Just backdoor, just in the franchise quarterbacks. Every fucking like how many quarterbacks have we had in Washington in the last 5 years? And how many quarterbacks
15.
have they had in Green Bay since '92? Pisses me off. Okay,
yeah, that's fair.
And the New England Patriots having like 4 years of heartache to just roll into the Drake May experience.
Hold on,
Like,
but here's the other piece of it. When I picked New England, Drake May was a part of it, but it's because of Josh McDaniels. And so I am still interested to see, because I'm not convinced still that it is going to be Drake May long-term. Not yet. But I do think Josh is doing an outstanding job. And I think Drake is doing a good job of making the right reads, of being confident, making the right throws, etc. But we saw this with Mac. I think Drake is way more talented. But we did see this with Mac. And then the moment Josh left.
Josh isn't going anywhere.
I don't think he is. And so that's why I think that it'll end up working. But right now, in terms of credit, it's
Josh is
more,
a damn good thing. You just can't.
Each time he works with somebody in an OC capacity, he's fabulous.
It's a specific sort of. He's a dickhead. He's a dickhead.
Oh yeah, exactly. But as a coordinator, he's brilliant.
No, as a but that's why it's the Vrabel. Look, man, I'm telling you right now, Vrabel gets a ton of credit for this shit. Like I'm. Of
course he does. He was the main reason I picked him. It was Vrabel.
Yeah. Vrabel, like Vrabel's that guy. It's the same thing. Like another dude that's a complete asshole, but he's gonna make a good offensive coordinator somewhere as long as they convince him not to kill his quarterback. Is Dable.
Yep, which looking forward to seeing, because I think like if I had to let go of one of Joe Shane or Dable, I was gonna let go of Shane. And I think that wasn't even close.
I mean I'm overall until the Jackson Dart injury. That's I can't now. That's it. Now,
That's
fuck
fair.
that, man. How you know that about the player and you still decide to do that? No, man.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Any final thoughts over here on the side piece or the NFL as a whole before we move to a short comment mailbag?
I think things are going to get really, really interesting across the league. It feels like we're really gearing up for some crazy shit at the end of the season going into the playoffs. Because to me, the idea of New England being your number one seed in the AFC, I'm not picking New England as my favorite team in the AFC.
I'm not either.
Right. But the idea that like the road to the Super Bowl could be going through Foxborough with those fans and that coach and him being as clever as he is at certain points in time, like that to me is setting the stage for some really, really interesting shit. And Baltimore is coming.
There you go. So the really scary thing now is assuming they're either going to get as the 1 seed, which is now a very scary year to be the 1 seed.
Yep.
Either a wild card Kansas City, the way things currently stand, or even if KC gets knocked out, you're going to get a 4 seed Baltimore Ravens. And that is just a really, really scary spot to be in. Got
chaos.
I can't wait.
Even
it's going to be so fun.
Tampa Bay to me, the most intriguing thing about Tampa Bay is looking at their injury report and like when are guys coming back? Like Bucky Irving has not played for Tampa Bay in weeks. I know this because he's on my fantasy team.
He's on mine as well on the other league.
Like
it's tough.
But when he's back, I'm like, yeah, but he's not there right now. Like they still
Mike Evans too.
Right. So like it's just this matter of like I still love them. I love my Super Bowl pick. Okay. My Super Bowl picks are I'm a fan of what I did.
Tampa, Buffalo.
Yeah, I still feel good about that. Even though there's something clearly wrong in Buffalo, but I think it's just as simple as Josh is playing more hero ball.
Could have just been a bad game also. Like
I think he's back to hero ball just a little bit. There are two teams that I think they're overthinking things. The Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills. Hand the ball to Josh Jacobs.
That's
hand
literally
the ball to James Cook.
That's it.
I remember I handed it. Get the ball to them. Mm-hmm. Period. Just do that. Both of those guys should be having Saquon Barkley seasons this year.
There you go. And that was the side piece report. We move over to the comment mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
I thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. Just the 2 comments this time, beginning with Kofi to 4.
Jair Alexander just retired.
Do you really?
I on my Apple Watch to see something from Jake Lake.
Well, I tell you what. Here's what I'll say to that. Not surprised. Like, just based on if I could pick any one player to suddenly retire out of nowhere, it would be Jair.
That'd be him.
It would be Jair. Here's Kofi to 4. Shout out. Dan Quinn is a failure. That's all caps. Get out your reaction.
I'm thinking definitionally. I don't know if I can disagree with you, but I have faith in him. Like right now, he does. Like how many Super Bowls Dan Quinn got as head guy, right? So like, if I'm looking at 28-3, that's a failure. So like but I look at it as that a lot of times you need to fail before you succeed, and that's what I'm hoping on. That's where I have a lot of faith.
Dan Quinn has failed.
I like that.
He is not a failure.
I like that.
That's what I would say. So that 28-3 was undoubtedly a failure, right? You're in that position. You got to win that game. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. You got to win that game. Short of that, he has rebuilt himself. He performed a miracle last season. And now we are going through a rough season. It is what it is. He is not a failure. No. Rennell Winchester goes, I know there is a lot of blame on the defensive coaching team. However, is it not also possible that the vast majority of their defensive players are inadequate? That said, I heard the announcers telling us what should be done to adjust the defensive calls. KDot, we went through it extensively in the All-22, but Rennell Winchester hitting on, hey, is it really the scheme or do the players just suck? Go ahead, your reaction.
I mean, talent. Like I said, there is a reason like the old guys are there. They're healthy. The young guys are hurt, and everybody's playing like they got their head up their ass.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot more to be said. We, talked about it ad nauseum in that I'm looking up the Jair Alexander thing before we wipe out, because the other funny thing here is, like, of course he would retire when they're on a 3-game win streak.
It's such
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He left. He went to Philly.
Yeah, he's in Philly.
That's right. Okay. Well,
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I know
he's contemplating it.
I thought it was over. Oh, he's contemplating.
He's stepping away from football to focus on getting himself right physically and mentally.
Oh, so he doesn't want to play until the playoffs.
That sounds right.
Got it.
That was the Comment Mailbag. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode, which was primarily the All-22 review. KDot, excellent job, as always. And then we touched on the side piece report, which is really just an around the NFL conversation focused on 4 teams at this point. The Patriots have pulled away, but then we talked about the Ravens, for example. We'll talk about the Denver Broncos and the Comment Mailbag. So if you enjoyed, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Share this one. Oh, we did a good job this episode. If you think so, then share it. I know this episode probably not get a lot of views. It's okay. Just want you guys to share it. I mean, I think we were kind of positive throughout some of this. We had a good time. We had some laughs. It's not all terrible. I'm just saying, as far as like being a Commanders fan, you can have this existential crisis and just kind of consume yourself with like.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.